it's you can everyone can love something different and still get along.
Potatoes in my backyard.
I have really good German butterballs. Seed potatoes.
Okay.
It's really good.
And we're here. One, two, three, four.
All you have to do is make a pot.
No, I know, that's what I'm doing. But I'm gonna get these, you know those things that are like,
Oh yeah, you mean like the rounded brick?
no, it's like, it's not plastic, but it looks like a
Yeah.
plastic strip about this big and they use it like line walkways.
Yeah, it's like
line walks like that. Something like that, but they can make rooms in it, and then they get stacked.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
Tell me if I'm on like that. Am I on? Is that good? Oh, wait a minute.
That's a whole nother.
Something happened to this.
Dan Brady.
Huh?
I'm going to the. Kitchen. Do you want anything?
Oh, no, I'm good. Oh, water. A big water. Yeah, water. Does this sound? How come this is not making noise? Oh, maybe because the sound is all the way down.
How about this? Is that good? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start the second half. Just how to keep it out of the.
Easy for you to say.
That's, just don't quote me there. Thank you. We're going to go into the second show, the second half. It's going to be good. We have lots of people coming up. It's going to be a wonderful show. Just wonderful. And there's a joke that I was going to tell, but I can't remember the punchline, so I better not start it. That'd be terrible. Start the joke and you got to. And so he said, bad thing to do. If I remember it, I will bring it up in between the people coming up. And Britt Peter is kicking us off, yes? Yes. Britt Peter, come on up here. You are kicking and ending the second show. We like you very much. You are a proud, standing person.
Let me make sure I have this exactly right for you. This should be about like that. Okay, great. All right. And off we go into the wild beyond.
So the theme is inaction, and I wanted to write a poem about a congressman in a town hall meeting and inaction, but it turned into an essay. So this poem, inaction, theme words, key words, act, react, enact, action, reaction, inaction. The teeter-totter sways, that dude sitting under a tree, the apple fall, that apple again. Are we talking about the fall of man? Are we talking about physics? Are we talking about politics? Or is this just another word game, passing the day, following the numbers? Just talk or action? Understanding word salad. Without a press secretary, you hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Well, maybe not that end of the beast. He says they would send me stuff because they wouldn't send me stuff because they know I'm straight up. Straight up? Did he mean straight arrow? I'm straight up and a stable genius. Oh, good. As George Goebbels said, you can't hardly get them like that anymore. Straight from Donnie to you, the listening audience. Stir it all with a large stick. This train, this is after listening to a lot of Sister Rosetta Tharpe. This train is a fascist train. This train carries McConnell and Trump. This train carries the Mar-a-Lago crowd. This train carries empty boxcars named EPA and the Bill of Rights. This train has arrived at our station. But you can't get on this train. and it is going to take a lot of effort to derail this train. This train.
Yeah.
Faces on TV that won't go away. Almond-eyed babies in Yemen. Faces of asylum seekers walking the roads at our borders. Faces rendered by Margaret Keane or Norman Rockwell? No. Rendered by merchants of sadism and hate, the bloody palette. Reminds me of what Bruegel went through in the Low Countries, or what Goya must have seen in España, the modality of firing squads, the terror in peasant faces.
Sharon Scott, Kish, for God's sakes, coming up here. And then we got Stephen coming back, Nancy Wakeman, looks like
Katie.
Katie has all her.
In the back.
Oh yes, I see you. All right. And then Tommy, Amy, and Rob. But now Sharon will take us to the thrilling days of yesteryear.
The black man cannot protect a country if the country doesn't protect him. And this is called Uncle Stan's Stacy's. Look at a man's shoes, now that's the story. Judge him by what's done in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. Say hello, then look down. You can tell by the face what type of impression you made. Grimaces, not too favorable. Smile, okay. Shoes must be shined, laces perfectly tied, no run-down heels. Shoe shop keep busy, steady businesses, taps, half soles, polished. Shoe shine man or boy really can make quite a good pile on Fridays and Saturdays. Now taps on a shoe, metal ones. Some men prefer them a distinct sound. Usually the men that wore these were very regimented, precise, crisp shirts, handkerchiefs, folded exact, everything about them strict. Great example, male principals. You could hear them clicking down the school halls, dreading when they stopped at your classroom door. Some blind men preferred taps, that way they could pace their steps. Women also wore them, just some small ones on the toe of the shoe. This woman usually had a sofa and her chairs covered in plastic and white sheets. Everything about her purse was either held together with a rubber band or each item had its own envelope. In the 50s, big horseshoe taps. Ducktails, sleeves rolled up. Boys thought it was a good look. Parents didn't think so. In fact, most girls were not allowed to date these boys. Men loved taps. Of course, they went along with the very starched khaki haircuts and sidewalls. Brogans, now that's the sturdy shoe. Around the house, people tended to be more casual, more comfortable. Take off your shoes, no clomping around on fresh, shiny floors. Pick up your feet. House shoes, house slippers, mules for the high-toned women, the ones that wore kimonos and smelled of perfume, lilac or gardenia. Kids usually wore moccasins, bunnies, or animal-themed shoes. Old men had the house shoe down pat. New shoe, sit down on the porch or den. Get out a knife, scissors, or a razor and cut out that spike on the side. Got to give that corn some room to breathe. Of course, the shoes were a gift, and it pissed off the kids, wife, and grandkids that you had just mutilated a brand new pair of shoes. But comfort, now that's the main thing. Some people just walked on the heel or spur piece, made it into a slipper. Now that really pissed off parents. It broke the shoe down and ruined the shape. Don't break that spur piece, not at all too familiar phase, followed by you're not getting a new pair of shoes. Protect the shoes. Shoe trees, stuff them with wet newspaper. Shine wax on the weekend. Winter shoes, spring rains, boots, galoshes, rubbers. Now galoshes, that's a big shoe. Big clips, heavy. For some reason, parents favored these monsters, especially parents that were older. You know the type, afraid to change, for the change of life, baby would catch a cold. More likely to catch hell on the school bus from the other kids. Yeah, they notice your shoes. Girls covet high heels of their mothers and big sisters and neighbors. And the vamp, they loved her shoes. Little girls would sneak on high heels, and it was a great look with socks. Mother's hat, a pocketbook, and there they were, off to the store. There was always that uncle, a sharp dresser. This man arrives, all eyes light up. Snap brim hat, trimmed mustache, talc and cologne. He always has pocket money to dole out, and as well as great stories. Brenda's Uncle Stan was that man, numbers man in Chicago. At least once a year he would appear, sometimes a little more often, especially if the police were interested in him. Wads of money, I mean wads, give it to everyone. Came to the house, always had the kids coming to the store for him. He was always an easy quarter, bought all the groceries while he was visiting. Brenda's brother Terrence would always count on some small extra money from him. Uncle Stan's shoes, he would spend most 2 hours on the job. Not that it really took that long, but he was only 6 and he had to get everything together. Brushes, rags, polish, newspaper. To lie the whole production went. Well, one summer Uncle Stan came for a visit. Lots of luggage. Looked as though he planned to stay a little bit longer. He really packed his best clothes for this trip. Terrence would always bring his buddies to the house so they could see Uncle Stan's clothes and shoes. Wow, suits, ties, shirts. Playing cards with naked girls. 2 packs, mind you. One with white girls and one rare one with colored girls. This brought lots of giggles. Ooh. Maybe they just make some money if they made a pair of shoes special. Stacey Adams. That's a special shoe already. Pointed, shiny. White stitching, solid sole. Toes so pointed you could kill a roach in a corner 6 inches away. What can you do to improve the shoe? Well, Uncle Stan is not that tall. Mr. Williams down the street has lifts put in his shoes, so gossip around the barbershop says. What could be so hard about adding a few inches to his shoes? Newspaper too soft, need too much. It's not solid, like an inner sole. So this is tricky. Calls for a trip to the shoe repair shop. Lumber yard, no wait, hardware store, they have small pieces of lumber out back and rubber cement will make it hold. By the boys have seen their fathers use it. Bicycles rounded up, off they go. First to the shoe repair shop, need leather, maybe an inner sole to cover. Make it 3 in case we make a mistake, says Terrence. How about new shoelaces? Let's see. How much is that going to cost? Well, if we don't have enough, we can always charge it, or we can work it off. Inner soles, brown shoelaces. How about a piece of leather to cover that inner sole? Let's see, what color? Red. Red, that's fancy. He's fancy, so let's get red. Okay, boys, I can give it to you for free. Don't have much need for red. Now, boys, what size inner soles do you exactly need? Give us big ones. So the boys, that's about 50 cents. I'll cut you a deal. Great. Off they go to the hardware store. Let's see, rubber cement, maybe some tacks. Decide they don't need a stapler, they have one back at the house. Mr. Curtis shows them to the back room storage, and they get scraps of wood. He shows them the inner soles. He shakes his head and says, boys, you want me to cut this for sure? Sure. Better make sure in case we make a mistake. Let's see, about 25 cents. Great. Off they go back to the house. Down to the basement, find the toolbox, lay the newspaper out, get to work. Run upstairs and get lucky Uncle Stan's shoes. And he's out shooting pool and the breeze. They look at all the shoes. Wow. Hey, pair. Brand new laces haven't even been put in. Great. Down the stairs they run. Hands, pliers, hammers, scissors, glue, cloth, wood, sandpaper. Yuck. Let's just rip this old inner sole out. Let's wrap the inner sole. Oops, it's too big. Let's trim it. Wrap now rubber cement. Let's put some in the shoes so they don't slip. Now, new brown shoelaces. Laces in, kind of add something to the black and white spectators. Wipe the glue off the sides, or rather smear it off the sides. Back up the stairs in the box. Job well done. Days pass by. They check to see if he's seen the shoes. Nothing. Finally, Saturday, Uncle Stan is going to a big dance on 12th and Vine. He's getting ready. Clothes laid out. Pants, shirts, ties, belts, jackets, hanger, and jackets on the hanger on the back. Time to put the shoes on. Open the box. What the hell? Everyone comes running. First it's shock, then it's laughter. People are doubled over. Mr. Stanton, Terrence's father, says, so much for best foot forward.
Stephen Hendricks knows he's coming back up.
just so that people know that whenever you're the keynote, you always come back and do your own thing, as it were. And then we have Nancy, Katie, Tommy, Amy, Rob, Garrett, Morgan Freeman. Oh, he's coming. He said?
It makes me cry every time. My new book, Leave With More Than You Came With, is on sale at San Francisco and Green Apple Books.
Woo! Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying I'm responsible for this, but I'm also not saying I'm not. But the book came out last month with an epigraph from Joy Harjo, and today she was named U.S. Poet Laureate. So you're welcome, Joy. One of the overarching themes of the book is identity. So the epigraph from her is, "What am I in this place of loss and heartbreak? How do I bear the weight of my soul?" This first poem is an ekphrastic poem based on a painting by Lawrence Ferlinghetti called "This Is Not a Man," play off of Magritte's "This Is Not a Pipe." It's a man sitting in an electric chair. The mask hides terror-stricken eyes, meeting death's stoic gaze. The electrical current frying meat from the inside out, sizzling like bacon in a pan, smoking like bone-in brisket, outpacing the brain's impulses and the heart's rhythm, blood seeping through whatever orifice it can find in this sacrifice without feast. And I won't even mention race. And then along with the theme of inaction, this one is called "The Resounding Silence." 6 million dead, never again, we said. 6 million dead, never again, we said. 6 million dead in the Congo, and not a word.
Yeah. Yep.
And this last one's called "The Safeway in San Francisco." It's my turn to dream Allen Ginsberg as I walk through the streets of Chinatown, North Beach, to the Embarcadero, bus back to the Richmond as the sun descends again and the fog descends again on the city and the minds that inhabit it. I walk into a supermarket as much in need of images as you were once to appease the appetite, appease the howling hunger of something fresh. The kiwis rotting on the shelf, mold growing on the papayas, too sweet the smell of strawberries. Stop hiding in the bananas, Allen Ginsberg, with your prick tied to a bunch, hoping the young boys will unwittingly grab it in their hunger for something out of reach. The young boys will come when they are ready, old man. When did possibilities turn into dreams? And what has become of dreams now? Walk with me out into America, out into the dark night, in this time of the ostrich. Now is our time, or we have no time. Your time is not past, though you be but a ghostly dream. I will not let you lie quiet while there is work still to be done. The smog is still there. The industrial clamor of capitalism, which almost ruined America, is still there. Escaped unscathed, but being propped up now by the living corpses of the people. The people, yes, with their heads buried. What America is still possible? What dreams do we still allow ourselves? Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Oh, Nancy Wakeman, is it? We haven't seen her in such a long time. It's really nice to have her here. Steve, what was the name of the painting?
This is not a man.
This is not a man. Okay, I want to make sure I have it.
Okay, this is Down to the Ground. Every season she climbed into the branches of the giant oak tree, golden hot summers, crisp orange autumns, gray cold winters, pink springs smelling of fresh green grass. Her story pushes forward, a hissing wind that stings her heart. Her childhood ends. She grows older, riper, bewildered by aging. Who is this person, this I, this me, she wonders. She opens the door onto spring and memories of her dead lover. At his touch, tight little buds opened into flower falls of riotous red, hot peach, and juicy pink blossoms. How he re-awoke in her that childlike trust in trees that never dies, but sometimes sinks underground. She has fears, but not about loneliness, fears about how to deal with her aging body and the mirror. She is proud of her youthful appearance. Now grocery clerks and bus drivers give her the senior discount. She must look like an ancient hag, but she feels so much younger as she grows older. Is she a rose or a many-petaled peony blooming? She becomes enamored of her own magnificence. The earth beneath concrete is a jealous lover and pulls her down, scraping off layers of skin, bruising her bones down to the ground. The earth scrapes off of false fronts and the small jealousies and mourning for lost yesterdays. She feels the earth spin under her and gathers her courage to rise and face the rushing world. Tougher, maybe wiser, a brown wrinkled wanderer who watches the world without being watched. An old wine-drinking woman who laughs at herself. A woman who lives without closing the door to the unknown.
Who's next?
We got Katie next.
Oh, Katie's next. Come on up, Katie. Give her a round as she comes up here. She's relatively new, but she knows how to do it. Oh, really? Oh, so you two now.
You know each other.
Poetry for the people.
All right. Okay.
Alright, I have two poems for you guys. The first one is called The Fried Klondike Bar. Swirling through the carnival, food stands and brightly colored signs spin around me. I'm already sick. The headache from the deep fried Klondike bar is spreading, and soon it's not just my tongue that is numb. Everything is numb. I have fallen into a void, and around me images ripple, and I hear other people laughing, and laughter is a language that I don't understand. I fishhook a pathetic joke from my mouth. Try to break the tension. Try to make an impact on the outside world, see myself a part of this place. I'm frozen in ice cream. Sweaty stillness and the joy around me reverberates through my pain. It makes it deeper and sicker. At some point, I'm overwhelmed by it, try to take a swallow of joy and hold it in like funny smoke, the devil's lettuce, you call it, in my lungs, fall under an iceberg of sorrow, and watch my life happening above me in a frozen still mess. Everything is warped by the ice. This is bigger and that is smaller. I can't make out sounds. Sometimes I see double and I can't decide if it is twins or an illusion. I pull another small joke from my mouth and I watch it move through the ice and into your smile. I try to freeze us in time where we stand, shell-shocked at the fair.
Wow.
This next one is I'm gonna call it a poem in prose.
A prose poem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna call it that. It's pretty new. It's called Torch. You know, when someone spits fire, they take a mouthful of something noxious and spew it into the air around them and light the flammable liquid so that they become a human torch as long as they can spew the fuel. What happens if instead of letting it burn off outside of you, you swallow and internalize all of what was supposed to burn off? Let it burn inside of you so no one can see your trick. But you know that you're a magician. You know that you're a human torch. You just don't burn where anyone can see you. Will your flames extinguish themselves? No oxygen, so they smolder into embers and you burn up slowly from the inside out. What happens if you swallow and then change your mind? Swallowed your talent and now no one can see it, but you can't figure out how to let it out again. There's no opening. You open your mouth and can't catch a flame, it's only smoke. So you start asking for help and everyone thinks you're not really talented, just blowing smoke up their asses. What do? You could cut yourself open, but then you're just a dead torch and blood would probably extinguish the fire in the first place. How do you let it out? How do you mine for the talent you swallowed? How do you let out what you've tried to hold in? How do you make your light known? It's a question I've been trying to answer. Splatter it on the walls with paint. Find sharp shards of words and let them pop through my skin until the glow from inside leaves a shadow I can trace on paper and pass off as proof. I'm wondering if it went out. Extinguished by stomach acid and neglect. Every time I pop a new hole, I'm waiting to see the reflection of my fire burning in someone else's eyes, proof that it exists. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does, and that's why it feels like I'm burning from the inside out sometimes until I throw ink or paint and leave some shadow figure cast by the light inside as evidence that I existed at all. Thank you.
And yes, now Tommy Abacola-Mecca is going to be our mini of the evening. Tommy! Join me? Jesus Christ and a hamburger.
I'm vegan. It's got to be a vegan burger.
Jesus Christ and a vegan burger.
If I'm going to eat Jesus, it's got to be in a vegan burger. Actually, there's better ways to eat them, but I won't go into that.
I got a call for you.
Seriously. 55 bullets in 3.5 seconds. Firing squad execution unleashed on a 20-year-old black man asleep in his car, leaving the man's body unrecognizable. Bullets through face, chest, throat, arms. No flesh left untouched. An unarmed black man in a Taco Bell parking lot, asleep in his car. Employee called the cops. The police report said their response was reasonable. Reasonable. Another word for massacre. It's a true story, unfortunately. A good friend of mine died on Sunday, and I found myself writing this Sunday night. Gone. Just like that. Gone. All that you were vanished, except in my mind. Incomplete sentences, video excerpts, a lot of laughter is all that remains. Stubborn, obstinate, a stalagmite. I could always count on you to be more cynical than I am. We met in another century. Midwest Gay Pride Conference, 1975. We were always outlaws, even when it was out of style. These past few years, you were obsessed with genealogy, collecting all sorts of strange music from the internet. Your health, a constant adversary. Your visits to the doctors, amusing adventures you related via email and Facebook. I thought you would live forever just to spite the drones who stuck you with needles and patched your heart with plastic parts. The last time I saw you, the clock was winding down, the second hand taking a step back for every one forward. The battery was near empty. I was on my way to see you this afternoon. Something stopped me. I sensed you were already gone. Now all I can do is sit here in the dark and let words spill all over this damn page. Nothing else makes sense. And now to lighten up the mood a little, this was also from a news story. I read a lot of news stories and I get inspired to write things. But this is also from a news story some of you might recognize, I hope. The last line is from the news story, so I hope you'll recognize this. Pigs fly. Angels fit on the head of a pin. The cow jumps over the moon. Priests never lie. Madonna is a virgin. The earth is flat. The moonwalk was staged. The politician cured himself of being gay.
Oh.
Yeah, a politician really said that. And the following poem contains actual words spoken by a man of God. I'm an atheist, so man of God in big apostrophes.
Giant letters.
Yeah, giant letters. Kill them, he says. Don't let any of them escape. Young and old, even family members. They're everywhere. In the grocery store, in the gym, at the office, like roaches. They're easy to spot. They're flamboyant, running around like a bunch of Twinkies, wearing pride junk, infecting the culture, ramming sodomy down the throats of the righteous. Put them on trial. Round them up. Kill them. He doesn't understand. He is the infection. And I'm going to end with, I'm very proud to show this, the latest issue of Street Sheet, which is put out by homeless folks, the Coalition of Homelessness. My poem, it's the Pride issue, and my poem's on the front cover. So, in Pride, I'm going to read my Pride. And I hope you all pick it up because really, homeless people sell these. They get them from the coalition. They sell them and they keep the money so they can buy food and, and other things that they need. So this is a really good thing to support. Okay? So I encourage you to all go out. Also because you want to get my poem. You want a copy, right? And I'm actually going to donate this to you, Dan, so you can give it away as a prize also. After I read this. My Pride. My pride is defiant and raw. It's not polite. It isn't marketable. It won't show up in the Dow Jones averages. It's not running for office or joining the police force, the military, the church. It won't cooperate with the FBI, CIA, or Homeland Security. It doesn't put kids in cages tear gas asylum seekers, or criminalize the homeless. It knows that changing laws and electing politicians is not enough. It's not a ribbon, a flag, a beer, or a hashtag. It isn't trending or being tweeted. It's not a Russian bot or a meme. It's not going shopping or something I ordered online. It doesn't stay in an Airbnb or call a Lyft. It doesn't have a buffed body, like me, a buffed body or a designer wardrobe or a supply of party drugs. It doesn't let me forget all the murdered gay men and trans women of color, the years that gay sex and drag were illegal, or how this nation stood by and let my friends die. It understands no matter how much things seem to change, I'm still not safe. My pride is ever on guard and always in your face.
All right. This is added to the collection. All right. Amy B. Amy B. who's ready to go. And then we got Rob and Garrett and Shem. Mr. Mosticelli.
Yeah, yeah.
You're perfect. Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. This is called Can You Imagine? Can you imagine yourself as well? The first intelligible words out of the mouth of my new Israeli Lyme doctor. He's a specialist, primarily in alternative cancer treatments, but his daughter's caught Lyme, so he decided to treat tick-borne diseases on the side. Mostly, Isaac is a guru, worshipped for his genius in East-West integrative medicine and healing, keeping cancer patients alive decades beyond their oncologist's prediction with simple solutions of vitamin C and oils from sacred tree barks. There is no doubt he works miracles with cancer, but I don't know how to answer his question. No one ever asked that before. To imagine being well is to remember what it was like. I have no idea. I lie to him. Yes, I say adamantly, falling asleep in his overstuffed office chair. He begins to muscle test me for various supplements, testing the strength of my thumb and forefinger looped together as I hold a jar of pills in my other hand. He scribbles indecipherable doctor's script on a daily calendar, prescribing supplements up to 6 times a day. Now is not the time to tell him I will never adhere to the schedule. Anything over 3 times a day is absurd. But the endless pills that litter kitchen counters and fall out of overhead cabinets or get lost in the pantry are part of what Lyme patients sign up for. I've come to see Isaac as a last hope, not because the end is near and I am dying, but because Lyme and its co-infections have plateaued. I'm the closest to wellness I've been in 8 years, but my doctor thinks there's one final key to unlock my health puzzle. I exist in the bardo of wellness. It is excruciating. He believes Isaac holds the key. I believe I will do anything to never live like this again. I've come for a treatment called apheresis, a type of plasmapheresis in which blood is removed from the body, separated into red, white, and plasma cells, and filtered through giant filters manufactured by Braun, before reintegrating and returning to the body. The filters collect junk: dead microbes, living microbes, cholesterol, chemical residue from years of antibiotics. The idea is that by cleansing the blood, the immune system is less taxed and the body can rebalance itself to the infection. With a stronger immune system, our bodies live in harmony with the billions of foreign invaders living among ourselves. My old doctor is convinced apheresis is the key to my wellness, but Isaac says I'm not ready. First, you need to do nutrition preparation and then microsilver program. His voice is kind but direct. For a long time, I thought he was German. Nutrition is like an IV wellness bar that could cure any hangover or cold. Vitamin C, magnesium, calcium, banana bag for hydration, ozone, and UV light to begin killing off bacteria. It was quite a regimen to prepare for phase 2. The first phase would take a few weeks, maybe a month or 2 days of IVs a week. I had a job and a life 2 hours away and didn't feel like throwing it away to go to sick kid camp as more than a part-time resident. You can start Monday, but before we do silver, you'll need a PICC line, he continued. My heart sank. In nearly a decade of treatment for Lyme, not once had I ever been okay with getting a peripherally inserted central catheter. Any opening and tube that did not belong to my body naturally was not okay. But in order to undergo the mystical treatment, the microsilver needed a deep vein, which can only be accessed by a PICC line from the bicep to the heart, or a port accessed directly through the chest. Can you imagine being well? Sat in my stomach as he told me this. What could I imagine? If I were well, I'd do something else with my life. I would travel, I would write, I would leave a job I'd so long thought was silly. But I wasn't well, so those images weren't possible. Just images kicking around the bottom of my sock drawer. I wasn't sure what I could imagine, but that day I was willing to sacrifice a little bit of soul for the possibility to rewrite my future. Can you imagine being well? Yes, I replied again, signing on the dotted line, collecting 2 armfuls of pills I would only take at breakfast, lunch, or bedtime, and agreed to see Isaac again the following week. Thank you.
Rob. The talking hat. I know. What is that from? Who that? I don't know. I know that hat.
Whoa.
Isn't that the character from the cartoon show?
From what?
The cartoon show, South Park.
I don't know. I got it free on Craigslist.
I got it free. Where the best things are found.
The hat talks. I know that. It's the character of the hat talking.
You mean Mr. Hanky, the talking poo?
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Sure? I don't know. I thought you were sure over there.
No, I'm not.
Okay, I thought. Okay.
Well, I am wearing this. I'm wearing this hat to distract you from this crappy song that I'm about to play.
It won't work. Can't put lipstick on a pig.
When I first wrote this, I said, this is clearly B material. But then I did it at Mutiny Radio last week because I didn't have any more new songs, and they loved it. So I think my instinct is right, but I'm going to do it anyway. And you can help me on this one. When the chorus comes around, there is one line that is always the same. In the country, in the town. In the country, in the town. And if you want to sing that line with me, you're welcome to. And then on the line that always follows, in the country, in the town, shout it out with me, let's bounce, and then bouncy bounce. It'll make sense when it comes around. And this song is called Bounce.
Oh!
I was pink and she was brown. She showed me her side of town. To her family we went round. Her brother stared me down. I played with her nephews 3. I had him laughing so sweetly. She took me to the cellar and said, I have a notion in my head. Let me sit on you and bounce. If I get naked, will you pounce? All around and up and down. In the country, in the town. I'm feeling kinda tingly. Let me hold your little thingly. I'm segregation, let's renounce. I'm gonna sit on you and bounce. She had a silver spoon. I was penniless, carefree. She took pity on me, and I took pity on she. I showed her how to live free. She showed me the lap of luxury, and then she found my lap. And 1, 2, 3, whee! Let me sit on you and bounce. My trembling thighs wanna pounce. All around and up and down. In the country, in the town. I'm feeling oh so moistened. Let's bounce, my hormones are rejoicing. Bouncy bounce, all these snobs I renounce. I'm gonna sit right down and bounce. She was believer, I was heathen. We argued till she was heavy breathing. She wanted to save my soul. I had an earthier goal. When our words words fizzled out. She said with a whimper, not a shout, let me sit on you and bounce. God must want me to pounce all around and up and down, in the country, in the town. I'm feeling kinda squirmy. Let's bounce, may I pet your little wormy? Bouncy bounce, I hear it weighs 12 ounce. I wanna sit on that and bounce. I was young and she was old. She was wise and I was bold. She made me self-controlled. She said I'd pay it forward tenfold. So all you women here today, if you want to sit and play, I would never disobey. If you said you wanted to bounce, I'm female catnip, so pounce all around and up and down, in the country, in the town. I can smell your pheromones. Let's bounce. You did it for Kanye and the Stones. So if you have a love Jones, come sit right down and bounce.
Ask you a question. So the Mutiny Radio, someone told me they're stopping or something, or
No, not just for, because Dave is going to Minnesota, so for like a few weeks.
Oh, it's for a few weeks. It's
a few weeks.
Oh,
They'll be
okay.
back.
Okay.
The Rainbow Gathering.
The Rainbow
Gathering.
yeah.
Okay. Garrett Murphy, who is in La House. Le House. Actually, that's not French. What's house in French? I forgot.
La Chapeau.
Le Chapeau.
No, that's the hat. Sorry, that's the hat.
Chateau. Chateau.
Chapeau is hat, yes.
Dormir, let's sleep.
Come on, someone knows the French for house.
Chez.
La maison. Chez maison. Give Garrett a round of applause. He can up here and get this started. We got Chef, Nick, Damien, Jimmy, and Brits. And then this other person I can't read his name. Huh?
Jacob, poet.
Oh, Jacob. Jacob. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that, Garrett.
There we go. You're on, Garrett.
You are on.
Homage to Buzz Winthrop in the name of Homeland Security. Fascism is here. It shouldn't have been any surprise at all. After all, it was approaching our land even more surely than the Medfly, Y2K, or African killer bees, and it ultimately is far more deadly. Fascism has arrived. There are those who crow that it makes no difference and that we are all in the same boat and we better get used to sacrifice, yet they themselves are the last to have to make such sacrifices. Would they be so nonchalant were they to be the ones thrown on the front line as so much target practice? Too obvious a question to answer for would-be armchair generals. Fascism has come, and with all due respect to Sinclair Lewis, it can happen here, and it has happened here with all this homeland security. Miss Sybil Libertine was recently run dead by a plane of security while too many of us say let it happen for we need to wake up. Little do they know that some might end up so they never wake up, or that they're not watching only a movie starring the Donald Trump as versatile as Buzz Winthrop. They'll instead soon find this is no old wives' tale either, that all too real for many to survive. It can happen here, it is happening here, and about to happen more, for fascism is here. Teetotal that odyssey. 5 choices of wine to choose from, barely one of juice and one for dear water. A common assumption is had by some that all crave warm and bubbly. Quite obviously, some never read what happens when one dares to assume. Some do believe in a choice. Some offer a choice between red and white wine, some offer a choice between beer and wine, and one even dare to offer one between 80 or 100 proof whiskey. Multiple bottles of wine to choose from, multiple cans of beer. Teetotalers get to drive up the wall, and they wonder why we bring our own drinks.
Jimmy, Britt, and Jacob. All right.
So tall.
I'm not quite as tall.
That's you. It's.
Not quite.
Now I know.
I am tall, but not that tall.
Okay. All right.
I mean, if you look at height globally,
Globally.
I'm tallish. Yeah. It's all that hormone-induced milk that Americans drink. Anyway, the theme was in action or inaction. So
In action, he preferred the one word, but there's no.
I'd heard it was open to
Yes,
one
it
or
is
two
open.
words. So
Just
so
so
I
you know.
titled it In Action, In Action. And I just spent like an hour today. So this is a rare, very first draft. Anyway. Enactment, ritualized reification of myths and stories keeping us connected for better and for worse. A specifically sapiens addiction, compulsive coordinated conduct giving rise to intersubjective co-created reality, sometimes good, sometimes bad, the human element. Poet, philosophers, routinely recidivist bullshit artists, axiomatic action figures, performative placeholders for meaning making. In a given context, our thoughts, actions, reflections, reactions, praxis can have a generative and transformative impact. Take a stand, choose a side, be actors in human history, say the activist humanists to the rest of us caught in the amber of an often oppressively dehumanizing moment. But is it really possible for any living system not to act? Anyway, inaction, inaction. I got one more that's brand new. This is kind of a nostalgic rekindling of adolescent earnest romanticism. It's called Blue Polka Dot Dress. Remember when I was inside your blue polka dot dress? My arms coming out from the sleeveless shoulders, almost like being inside of you. That night for me, you became your polka dot dress. Deep blue with creamy white dots, some larger, some smaller, a play of contrasts giving rise to floating, ephemeral shadow dots, even deeper, darker blue, coming and going, there and not there, swirling before my eyes, overwhelming my senses, mesmerizing their sliding away fleetingness, never allowing me to focus my attention for too long, those dark, dancing, polka-dotted mirages, existing for the briefest of instances in my sensory perception. But I didn't want a freeze frame. I didn't want you to give up your shadow dots to my vision. I just wanted to touch you in that clean white dot you had spoken of, the one you made as big as the world, so you could leap into it and take comfort there in your imaginary safe space. I wanted to be able to touch you like an angel might, without becoming the cause of any more suffering, and with an infinite capacity to take in all the pain and just let it slide away like shifting shadow dots as I dance before you from inside your polka dot dress. Yes, it was with precisely this kind of love that I wanted to touch you, if recollection and a few blurry water-damaged lines from an old blue spiral ring notebook can be counted on. To contain some truth.
Thank you, Jeff. Mitch? Yes, you're Mitch. Yes, Mitch. It must be you.
You're next.
You're next, and then we got Damien, who's new, Jimmy the Hat, Britt, and Jacob. Thank you. And if I missed somebody, you should better tell me now, because I'm going on a roll. All right, come on, here we go. Very good. We have you framed perfectly, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks to our cinematographer.
She sat in the chair and she looked around the room. The four walls, off-white. She wanted to grab a washcloth and scrub them. She didn't see the point. She stared at the mattress on the floor, the comforter crumpled up. She stared at the blood stain on the comforter that wasn't hers. She wondered what the fuck was she doing there. She turned back to the desk, the sheets of paper laying on the table, blank, not knowing what to say. She hated that desk. A heavy maple wood that belonged to her mentor, that kept her in those 4 rooms. She wished she could pick up the desk and throw it out the window, and then she'd be free of it all. But then where would she be? It was the only thing in those 4 walls that belonged to her. She tried to write again, picking up the pen, scribbling, hoping in the scribbles words would start to pour out. Thoughts would make sense. It would no longer be a tangle or jumble in her head. But all she saw on the lines were scribbles, and she couldn't make sense of them. She thought again about the desk. Could she burn it? Would the maple catch fire? Would that finally set her free? She wanted to crawl back on the mattress, cover her head, and just lay there. Lay there under the comforter, hoping the blood stain wouldn't touch hers. But then she went back to the paper. She wrote 4 little words, and then she stood up, walked across the room. She looked at the room. I hate this room. She opened the door and left. Thank you.
And now, forewarned has been forearmed. Yeah. We have a person who's going to be new to us. Damien, come on up and give him the treatment he's so richly deserved. Give it up!
I am new.
Yes, we know. I hope you feel welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a pretty welcoming space. You guys are all really cool.
Yeah.
First time here. The song's about the future.
Oh, you're really close to the mic because otherwise it'll not carry very well.
Okay. This song's about the future and how some
That's
people
better.
don't think there's going to be one. And I guess that sort of fits with the theme, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. You hear that? Gotta open your arms, not your wrists. on Alpha 9 Gamma. I want you to destroy social strata. I want to drink your mana. Ooh, stay amazing, yeah. You make me so fucking crazy, babe. Ooh, stay amazing, yeah. Though everything we know's changing. There's a mass extinction coming. If you aren't now, you should probably start running. Take me with you. If you need someone to kiss you, yeah. Psychic anarchist strike force. Have I got your back, baby? Of course, of course. What'd you think? Of course. I want you to have all my death data. I'll still want you on Alpha 9 Gamma. I want you to destroy social strata. I want to drink your mana. Ooh, stay amazing, yeah. You make me so fucking crazy, baby. Ooh, stay amazing, yeah. Though everything we know's changing.
A minor correction, we're going to have Jimmy, then Jacob, then Britt, because Britt is the closer. So Jimmy, are you ready? Are you ready, lad? Jimmy Matt or Jimmy Mankind?
Yeah, I know you like to travel.
No one remembers the name game?
Yeah.
Name game? Jeez.
Yeah, surely something around
I had in mind some introspective, sad-eyed whine until I was reminded of this re-evolutionary stage of mankind that we are really in. This is for my daughter who's working. Speak, woman, speak. Speak as if through frozen lips to break the ice. How can you hold yourself back from speaking? By what law of man are you silent? By what rule of life are you shut down? Speak, tell us everything. Words are thought, thought is life, is us. Tell us what yes really means. Tell us what you know to be true. Point out the false gods we worship. Rise up, be free, speak free. Tell us what you saw and what you see. Speak of your knowledge, your math, your art, and your science, and your heart. Speak for your eyes. Tell us what they would say if they could talk. Speak for the people. Speak for la femme who tries so hard to be la homme. Speak for the future, for generations to come, the lion and the lamb, the yegg out on the lamb. Speak for the outrage. Speak for the gods. Speak for your goals and your hopes and your dreams. Speak for the beauty you see and the one that you are. Speak for the beauty that carries the burden of civilization on her narrow shoulders, teetering upon high heels so gracefully. Speak for the love in the world, to any hand, heart, mind that will listen. Speak for their causes. Speak for their pains. Speak for their hunger, their families, their fields, and their names. Speak for the freedom to speak they gave up for no reason. Speak for the unreasonable fear to use what's been given. Words are life. Birth is a death sentence. Life is short. Tan largo el pesar, tan corto el placer. Dario, who stole it from Elmore Leonard. Everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die. Everyone wants to be slender. Nobody wants to sweat. We'll all be in silence too soon. Nobody leaves here alive. What fear could come closer to the fact that life is precursor to death? So speak so that your memory will last. Speak for the voice that you cast. Speak for the joy of being your own voice, the way that you pray, whatever you say. Speak for your freedom of choice. Speak to your culture. Speak to its bias. Speak to your class. Speak to las mulas, las madres, las santas perdidas. Speak to the hombrones, barones, ladrones. Speak to women. Speak to the men. Speak for the little girls who don't know where or how to begin. Speak for them all to be free. Speak for the truth that you see. Tell us, them, you and me, that all about life is nothing but we. We specialize into an insulation that carries us deeper and deeper into myopia. And if I don't ask about you, you won't ask about me. I'm left with myself. My world shrinks. Nano, nano, ennui. Elfin free. You are the portal, so you tell me. How do you feel? How do you see? What do you eat? What do they make? How much do they take? So speak through frozen lips to break the ice. Speak. Do not consider being nice. Speak from the warmth within to light the way. This world is yours today.
And then we got Brady will close us out, and then these fancy dancy prizes like I keep on talking to you about here.
Yeah, don't forget the shorts. Right?
Yeah, the short. Oh, the shorts. Sorry.
What size?
30.
30 or 32. Something. They don't fit me, I'll tell you that much. Are you ready, dear?
Well, actually, Dan, I'm being indecisive. So, would you like to hear how to put an assassination into a poem, or San Francisco, the Pending Miracle?
Miracle.
Miracle with the miracle. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Give us the miracle.
Well,
I know about assassination.
It's got a different. The title is, yeah, whatever. But Vocal said this is a surreal poem, but I was just trying to make their blog not as boring. So you can tell me. You can tell me what you think it is. San Francisco, the Pending Miracle. Hung in a gallery that offers no admission. Matchbox marauders about 16th Street, having left its host, whose pockets remain vacant. All joints have been digested. Pocketbooks fled to a region where mines still produce nutrients. Life savings deposited into this diluted slab of concrete called a city. Mother Mary, she no longer looks me in the eye. When a soul is on hiatus and exempt from prayer, life transitions to distortion. Jukebox plays all but a melody. Landscape turns to static. Color goes on strike. The sun falls apart, melting and molding to the underground inferno, as if to say, enough is enough. I've shown you nothing but light, yet you still have a fetish for the dark. Water is deity. Water is the 2-for-1 sale, destiny and destruction. Wine is Christ's method of communication. A handful of laced blunts led me to evolution, led to my evolution as a freelance prophet. Each inhale reminded me that we are not flesh but microphone. The voice within is actually composition. Keep watch over yourself and all the flock of which the Holy Spirit has made you overseers. Be shepherds of the church of God, which he bought with his own blood. Acts 20:28. Once blood is introduced to a pavement, it becomes a poem. Bart coins me art. I am a snapshot of San Francisco, somewhere between manic and mannequin. When all the bars have finally closed, the street opens up, swallowing bits of the forgotten. The portal to purgatory. I lick my lips. Finally, the change they promised. I must limbo to reach a miracle. My misgiving was faith and faith alone. The chosen few of the mission place hollowed out cigarillos atop their ears, advertisement of what's to come. I will be heavily medicated all year long. Around these streets, you know me as full-time junkie. Needles are my preferred company. They don't ask questions, they don't philosophize. It's noon, I must sleep. Night terrors never quite clock out. Who can you trust once the citizens have been replaced by demons? The city does not hide the fact that it is an apparition. The pastor outside the 24th Street bar station tracks down my eyes and says, God is a coffee cup. God is you. God is blackouts are the only family members I have left. Potent forgetfulness is my superpower in this city of mortals. Thank you.
Good choice. And now, Peter, the honorable last word will close us out. Give him a round as he comes back up here in the role of the clincher closer, super duper bulldozer.
I've got 3 leftover elk poems. Close observation. Did you know that the foreskin of the bull elk moves every time he lets out his bugle call? He gives it everything he has, but the hunters keep coming and the cows stay well hidden. Point raised. We were at the star party early in evening light. 3 elk cows were moving up the road ahead of us, the drum work of their hoofs sounding in time before nightfall when we saw the wonders of M13 and M22. And finally, okay, elks and blues singers. Hey, city boy, have you ever seen an elk away from a zoo taking a run at your old pickup? No, can't say I have, but I've seen B.B. King's bus coming over the hill, Fillmore Street in the fog after midnight in San Francisco. How's that for a wild match?
Well, you know, it's been a great one. Avacha is the feature next week, just so you know. I want to remind you about that. And we're going to take care of these special prizes. Shorts, size 32. Under Milkwood by Dylan Thomas. The Revisionist and the Astro Pastorials by Douglas Chase. Right?
I found that in a free box.
Free box. Okay. Outdated advertising. I tell you, I've looked through this book. It's like, my mom would say, it's a real hoot. Tommy brought this, the street sheet with his poem on the front, so that's a great thing. We have dress clothing of the Plains Indians. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Coltrane, right?
Yeah.
Live in Seattle, and then Ecotopia, which actually is a pretty good book if I remember. And I think that takes care of everything. And then if you want to get a hold of Sally Love Saunders things, this is an important thing, and this is an event. Civil Liberties United Diverse Voices is going to happen this coming Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. at the Corvette Theater Auditorium, and I shall be there. Then, of course, there are the cards. So, would you shuffle them and cut them one more time? I can shuffle them. Yes. Okay. All right. And the first, so like I have to say, when you signed in, you put your name next to a number. Now I have the numbers on the card, so there's shuffling. Number 4.
Number 4, Owen.
Owen? Owen Dunkel is first on the list. Give him a round of applause. Come on, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll make keynote next week.
Okay, we got Owen Dunkel as keynote. 28.
28. Jacob.
Jacob.
Did he? Oh, he's still here. Okay.
Yes, you're the next winner of the evening. Any of these fine things can be yours.
Wasn't there something about Dylan Thomas?
There are these 4 things and any of those.
Dylan Thomas.
Appreciate it.
It's yeah, I think it's fun. I like to get better about
words and then many features.
theme.
Okay.
And we'll do.
It is a tough one.
Kaleidoscope.
Oh, all right.
I'll actually do it. I always
That
forget the
sounds
theme.
Yeah, well, but you have your reserve theme in mind, should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17.
17. We have Katie Spitz.
Katie. As we say, so any of these things can be yours, are yours upon your choice. So this. Let me explain these because these might be new. In the second half, you get 8 minutes. This means you kick off and conclude the second half. And this means you sit here and try to make me not make mistakes.
Yeah. It's a
But
tall
you don't have to do any of
order.
these. Just let me know any of those. Or you can have any of these. Just like, since you might not know what these are, now you know.
Thank you.
Fully advised.
You're for mini feature.
Okay,
Wow,
cool,
I
all right.
like that.
Okay, so Katie, right?
K-A-T-I.
And then how last? S P I T. Oh, like Mark.
Yeah, like a swimmer.
Okay, all right, good. Perfect. We got it. Mini. 18.
18. Right after was Tommy.
Tommy. Coltrane.
Yeah.
I knew that one was going to go.
Yeah.
Number 1.
That is me. That is me.
Oh, that's you.
And I will take this.
Okay, we got
That
number
is-
1 taken care of. Number 25.
Number 25 is Damien.
Damien. You are a winner of the evening.
There he is. Woo!
So just so you know, any of these things, and if you're interested in poetry, you should just phone up. Well, both of these. Man.
Can't have it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Those aren't finals. Those are just media. All right. 14.
Oh, 14. Sharon.
Sharon.
Yep.
Sharon's got a kiss. Would you get in here? Jesus.
All right. You still have the last word, co-pilot.
Those two things, all of that. You can't take that. That's me taking.
Oh no, not in your hand.
Not that in your hand.
Oh my God, you scared me. I saw the corner of my eye.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.